to the very first video on the Great Escape channel. My name is Sharia. You guys will be seeing a lot of me, obviously. You guys don't really understand how long we've been trying to get this channel up and running, to work out any kinks, to work out any scheduling conflict. We spent most of 2019 trying to do it. Oh, Happy New Year, by the way. we as in me and the other owner of this channel, we have spent pretty much all of 2019 working out every little detail and every little kink to try and get this channel up and running as soon as humanly possible. And it is January 2nd. It's the new year. It's 2020, guys. I figured, why not start now? Why not try and just get it out there and start this channel for you guys. Welcome. I hope you guys enjoy our content. I hope you guys follow us on our journey. Me and Michaela have a really, really interesting story, interesting friendship. So I hope you guys are gonna enjoy it, and I hope you guys like it. So today, for the very first video on the Great Escape channel, I am going to be doing a kind of like a 2019 recap, but not really, because it's only for the month of December. Because December was by far a crazy month for me. Well, really not all of December. I'm gonna say the ending of December was really, really crazy for me. A lot of things happened. A lot of things went down. So I figured, why not talk about it a little bit. So I live in Miami. I am the one that lives in Miami, Florida. And we had our Jingleball on December 22nd. Sunday, December 22nd. So first off, I want to start by saying I got my Jingleball ticket really, really late in the game. Like, I knew that I was going to be going, but I got it really late in the game. So, I was trying for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it just wasn't working out. And so finally, the week before, I was like, you know what? I need to get my Jingleball ticket. That needs to be my priority. And I was able to find really good seats, really good floor seats for $150. So that was bomb. I was really close to the stage. Like, it was just amazing overall. So I buy my Jingleball ticket. I try to coordinate with some of my friends to see who's going, to see who's not going, to see, if I can meet up with anyone. And, it kind of just wasn't working out the way I wanted it to initially. I ended up essentially going by myself. While I was there, I met some new people. I made some new friends. But I essentially ended up going by myself to Jingleball. So let's start at the beginning of the day. I got to the BB&T Center, which is in Sunrise, Florida. Duh. I got to the BB&T Center at 10 o'clock in the morning. Jingleball does not start until 7 o'clock in the evening. But I wanted to get there really, really early because I had been trying, leading up until Jingleball, really, I had been trying to win meet and greet tickets for Why Don't We. I love Why Don't We so much. We're going to talk about that a little later on in the video. I love Why Don't We so much, if you can't tell. I went to the Orlando show in April, and I was like, you know what? I started my 2019 with them. I want to end my 2019 with them. So I got there super early. I know typically with radio stations, they will be like giving out meet and greets like the day of the show. Like, not just meet and greet, but like tickets to the show and stuff like that. You play a game, you win a contest, whatever the case may be. They're really, really helpful in that sense in giving out tickets because they want everyone to have a really good time. So I got out there super, super early because I wanted to win Why Don't We Meet and Greet. When I got out there, I was by myself, like I said, and I met up with, not really met up with, but I should say I met this girl there who was really, really nice. I believe her name was Aaliyah. She was really, really nice. She saw that I was by myself. She was like, I asked her if I could hang out with her. She said yes. So, she was really, really sweet. She's also a huge Why Don't We fan. And so we decided that we were going to ditch sound check for the pre-show, because we were going to stay and watch the sound check for the pre-show, but really there wasn't anyone that I wanted to see. So we were like, whatever, we'll just go and, do our own thing. So we ended up leaving the pre-show, or leaving the sound check for the pre-show, I should say, and we walked around to the back of the BB&T Center where all of the tour buses were. Think you know where this is going. We walk around to where all the tour buses are. It's raining, you guys. It is raining. It's gloomy. It's like kind of cold, but not really. Like, it's just like a little bit chilly, but it's raining. And so we are walking around. We get to the back where the tour buses are, and we see like buses pulling in, buses pulling out. And so it's really hard to describe, but there was kind of like a ledge that kind of overlooked the parking lot where the tour buses were. And so we're standing there leaning like against the ledge, looking down at all the buses, trying to see if anyone is gonna come out, if anyone is gonna be walking into the back of the BB&T Center or anything like that. We're constantly checking Instagram stories. Why don't we? AJ Mitchell, Zara Larson, we're constantly checking Instagram stories, Twitter, all of that jazz, to try and see if we can locate anybody. Because at this point, we'll take, anybody. It's still early, but at this point, we'll take anybody. And so we ended up not having any luck. And so we went back around to the front where everyone else was in front of the pre-show stage. And so around that time, CNCO was doing their sound check. I like CNCO. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't really understand what they're saying, but like, the beat is good. I can vibe to it. It's, that kind of deal. So we're watching CNCO do their sound check. They do, a quick sound check, nothing too long, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes or so. Nothing too long. They come down the steps to the side of the stage so they can go back into the BB&T Center. They stop, they take pictures, it was really, really nice. So fast forward now, we're going to fast forward a lot of hours. We're going to fast forward to when the pre-show has already started. The pre-show started at 2. So like I said in the beginning, usually when you go to a concert or to an event like this, they are giving away tickets. They're giving away meet and greet. They're giving away, tickets to the show. They're giving away, whatever they might be giving away. And so a lot of people wanted Why Don't We Meet and Greet. Like, we were all satisfied with the lineup, but primarily I would say 96 or so % of the people that were at Jingleball were there to either see Why Don't We or see CNCO. Like, those two were the mains of the show, you know what I mean? And so they're giving away Why Don't We Meet and Greet. They're giving away Zara Larson Meet and Greet. They're giving away, meet and greet to pretty much all of the artists that were there, who they were advertising and, all of that. So all day, people had been winning meet and greet all day. Me and a few of the other girls that I met and I ended up hanging out with, we had been trying up, down, left, right, back, forth to win Why Don't We Meet and Greet. That's all we wanted, was Why Don't We Meet and Greet. So, we had kind of been going around to different stations. We found a few people from Y100. And we were like, hey, like, what do we need to do? Like, we really want to win. Why don't we meet and greet? And they're like, we're giving out meet and greet tickets all day to all of the artists. Kind of just try your luck, do your thing, blah, blah, blah. And so we're kind of like, okay, whatever. That's, we'll just keep trying. We'll do whatever it takes. We put our name. They had a drawing at one point where you had to put your name and your email address. And they were going to be emailing people saying, hey, you won, why don't we? Hey, you won, whatever. And so we put our names down on that. We were just doing whatever we could to meet why don't we. And so hours had gone by. By this time, like I said, I was out there at 10 o'clock. By this time, it's now maybe 4, like 3 or 4. I have not eaten. I have not had anything to drink. I'm out there. It's so hot. It went from raining to blistering heat. Like in the middle of the day, out of nowhere, it went from raining to blistering heat. And I'm anxious. I have all of these emotions. My mind is just in overdrive. I'm really kind of just antsy at this point. And so I start to feel really, really sick. I get a really bad headache. I feel like I'm going to fall. I just don't feel well. And so me and 2 of the other girls that I met, we decided to walk across the street to the Sawgrass Mills Mall. We're going to get some food, we're chilling, whatever. We go over to the mall, and that's when we find out that Jonah was at the mall. Jonah was at the mall, you guys. Jonah was at the mall. We bust several missions. I don't know how it happened, when it happened, but we suddenly were like, okay, forget food. Like, yeah, we're on the verge of passing out, but like Jonah's here. So priorities, And so we start walking the mall. We circle this mall. Keep in mind, Sawgrass Mall, if you've never been, if you're not from Florida, whatever. Sawgrass Mall is a really big mall. It's an indoor and an outdoor mall. So there's, the indoor part is huge. It's got the food court. It's got all these stores. The outdoor part has all of these kiosks. And then on the other side of the parking lot is stores. It's an indoor and outdoor mall. That's really the best way that I can explain it. We walked the entire mall. Essentially, we walked the entire mall looking for Jonah. No sign of him whatsoever. No sign of Jonah whatsoever. And so we're like, okay, whatever. Like, let's get our food and head back. Like, at this point, we've already missed AJ Mitchell for the pre-show, which I was really disappointed about because I really wanted to see AJ Mitchell like at the pre-show. We missed AJ Mitchell, and we missed most of Zara Larsson's set, which also I was really upset about because I wanted to see if she was going to perform one of my favorite songs from her. I still don't know if she did or not. She didn't do it on the main stage, so I don't know if the set list is the same or not. But she didn't do it on the main stage, which really sucks. But, it's fine. So we get our food. We ended up getting some Subway. And as we're walking back to the mall, we're eating, trying to get our energy back up, trying to, make ourselves feel better. Because at this point, the show is going to be starting. The main show is going to be starting really soon. So we get back to the BB&T Center. Zara Larsson is finishing up her set. And I'm kind of off in the back with one of the girls that I had met. I'm off in the back. We're eating. We're checking Twitter, checking Y100 story. We're checking everything, like the people from Y100. We're checking their stories. We're checking everything. iHeartRadio, all of it. And so, sorry, my foot is falling asleep, you guys. I have to readjust. And so, at this point, it's now maybe like 5:15 or so. 5:15, 5:20. I had walked around to the back of the other stage, to the back of the pre-show stage where, they were doing the ticket pickup for like people that won tickets on the radio versus the people that bought their tickets. So I'm back there. It's me and, you know, the girls that I've met, hung out with, became friends with. We're all standing back there. We're all going on and on about how we want to meet, why don't we? And now, so this next part is a little bit of a blur. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but one thing led to another, and someone had just won meet and greet. I know that for a fact. Somebody had just won a meet and greet. I want to say it was to Zara Larson. That's what I was told. So somebody had just won a Zara Larson meet and greet. And so I asked the person who won, I said, hey, how did you win Zara Larson meet and greet? She said, you have to go to the Aflac booth. If you don't know what Aflac is, it's the little duck that like is on the TV. The only duck that's on TV that like is for an insurance company. She's like, I want this duck right here. This is my duck. His name is Daniel. We'll get into that. And so she's like, I just want Zara Larson. You have to go to the Aflac booth. You know, they're giving out meet and greet. I'm like, you know what? I already met Zara Larson. But, you know, why not? At this point, like I said, it's 5:15, 5:20. At this point, I literally will take whatever meet and greet I can get. And so I went over to the Aflac booth, and I'm talking to the lady. I'm like, hey, you know, I want to try and win something, you know, whatever. She's like, okay. She registers me in the computer. She's like, okay, now go over there so you can play the game so you can try and win. And so the game, essentially what it was there's a giant wheel that looks like a hamster wheel. And you have to get on the wheel. You have to run for 10 seconds. I'm out of shape. We don't do that. I have to run for 10 seconds. There's an arrow at the end of the wheel. Whatever the arrow lands on is the phrase that you have to tell the woman behind the counter. And at that point, she'll determine what prize you get. It's a really simple game. Like dumb simple game. And so I register, I get on this wheel, and I run for 10 seconds, and I stop, I look at the phrase, I walk over to the lady, and I tell her the phrase. And so she's looking at me. This lady is looking at me, not in a weird way, not in like a, you know, sizing me up kind of way. She's just looking at me, and she starts to nod to herself, you know, saying, yeah, that's the phrase, or, you know, whatever. And she goes, I have something for you. And I said, okay. So at this point, I'm nervous. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely, just by the way she said it, I was like, okay, I'm definitely meeting someone. I don't know who, but I'm definitely getting somebody's meet and greet. The lady looks at me. She looks at my shirt. And she looks back at me and she says, how would you like to meet, why don't we? When I tell you, I started sobbing. I started to sob in front of this lady that I have never met, and I probably will never see her ever again, like in my life. I start like boo-hoo crying. I'm sobbing in front of this lady. I'm giving her like the biggest hug, losing my mind, going crazy. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to meet, why don't we? Like, I'm losing my mind. And so she gives me the ticket, or she gives me the wristbands. I am literally like doing cartwheels, jumping, not like acting a total fool, but like kind of acting a fool because, you know, I'm excited. So immediately the first thing I do is I call my mom. I FaceTime my mom. I'm like, Mom, you are not going to believe what just happened. She said, what happened? I showed her my wristband. She's excited for me. Everybody that I'm telling is excited for me. My friends that are there, like my actual friends that are there, they come over to me. They're like, what's going on? Like, why are you so excited? I told them I'm meeting, why don't we? And they're all like really, really excited for me. And so there was this girl that I had met, and she came over after I had won, like initially after I had won. And she was like, like curious. She was like, what'd you win? What'd you win? I said, I'm meeting Why Don't We? She was like, oh my God, like you're so lucky, blah, blah, blah. And I had gotten like pretty close with this girl. So I was like, do you want to meet them with me? Like, I came here by myself. Like, it's whatever. Like, do you want to meet them with me? She's losing her mind. She's like, yes, 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 please. So this girl ended up actually meeting AJ Mitchell and CNCO. I'll get into that. So I give her this wristband. I have my wristband on. At this point, it's like 5:45, close to 6 o'clock. Why don't we meet and greet is at 6:20? So I had to go over to the booth, show them, my wristbands to be like, hey, I just won, like, what do I do, blah, blah, blah. And so they told me that I have to go around, back to the front, go in, and then when I come in, I'm going to make a left, go down that hallway, and all of the meet and greet winners are going to be assembled there. So I said, okay, cool, whatever. At 6 o'clock, I go inside. They started letting people in. Doors open at 6, and so they started letting people in. So at 6 o'clock, I get in. I am, I go through the metal detector. Everything is cool. I'm like hyped. I'm like, I'm meeting Why Don't We in 20 minutes. Like, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? How am I not going to pass out? So I go in, get through security. I make a left and I'm walking down and I see a bunch of people. And so I assume that that is meet and greet. So I walk over to all of the people. I'm talking with a few of them. I'm like, hey, is this meet and greet? They're like, yeah, who are you meeting? Why don't we? They're like, okay, yeah, it's on this side, whatever. So I'm talking with these people. I'm laughing. We're all super, super stoked that we're about to meet Why Don't We? It's about 6:10 now. And they call for the CNCO meet and greet. And we're like, okay, whatever, that's cool. 6:20 comes. They still haven't said anything about Why Don't We? 6:30 comes. They still haven't said anything about Why Don't We? 6:35 comes. They still haven't said anything about Why Don't We? 6:40 comes. I'm filming a video. 6:40 comes. And they're finally like, okay, if you have Why Don't We meet and greet, line up on this side. And they start counting us off in groups of, I think it was 20. And so they start counting us off. The first 20 are going to go up. I was in the first group of 20. They're like, the first 20, you guys are going to follow, this person from the radio station. And you guys are going to go up. You guys are going to get in line, blah, blah, blah. We get up there. We get in line. And the meet and greets have started to kind of mash into each other. There was still a lot of people in the Why Don't We line that were meeting CNCO because the lines just weren't separated. So they were, kind of just mixed in with everyone. And I think that security and everybody in charge, I think they noticed that. So they're like, who is meeting Why Don't We? Who is meeting CNCO? So they separate us based on who we're meeting. And then we start to go to meet Why Don't We? So we're getting in line. And they're like, no cell phones, no, whatever. We put our cell phones on the table. And we walk through the meet and greet doors. As soon as I walked through the meet and greet door and I turned the corner, I was face to face with Jack. No warning, no expecting, nothing, no type of forewarning. I was face to face with Jack Avery. I'm like, great. So I just started nervous laughing or whatever. And so I really wanted to stand next to Daniel. Daniel is my lane. I really, all night I had been saying, if I win, I'm going to stand by Daniel. I'm going to stand by Daniel. they were so quick and so disorganized that they didn't really give us a chance, and they were rude too. They really didn't give us a chance to like get our lives together. It's kind of was like wherever you're standing is where you're gonna stand for the picture. And so I ended up standing in between Jack and Zach, which I really don't mind. Like, I don't care who I stand. I really wanted to stand next to Daniel, but since it was how it was, I really didn't mind standing next to Jack and Zach. I really, I was talking with them. I was really nervous. I think I was giving off a lot of nervous energy. And Zach was rubbing my back to make me feel a little more calm. Jack was kind of giving my shoulders like reassuring squeezes. So it was really nice. And so we take our picture. We're going down the line. I'm hugging everybody. I give Jack another hug. I give Zach another hug. I give Jonah a hug. Jonah complimented my merch. I give Corbin a hug. Corbin also complimented my merch. And I get to Daniel and I give him the biggest hug of life. Like, I literally just squeeze him and I take him in my arms. I'm like, I love you so much. And he goes, I love you so much more than you love me. And I promptly went out and cried for not too long because I still had to get to the show. So I promptly went out and I cried for a little bit, but whatever. And so at this point, it's now 7:00 exactly. Meet and greet ran long. Everything was just like disorganized and kind of weird and kind of, just fast paced. So at this point, it is 7:00 exactly. And we still have to get back upstairs to the main floor, then go up to wherever your seats were. Luckily, my seats were on the floor, so I didn't have to go like up the escalator or anything. And so I get there, I find my seat, and I'm watching, because Niall is already on. Niall opened up the show, and Niall was already on stage at this point. And so I'm watching him, having a good time. I got a lot of really good videos of him. And then after Niall was Zara. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to be all right. I still feel kind of bad. Like, I'm still like kind of sick. But, I'm going to try and pull through. I'm going to try and make it through. I could not make it through. I could not make it through Zara's set. I had to go and get something to eat. And so Zara comes on. She performs a song. And then the music starts for Ruin My Life, which is the song that I was talking about earlier that I really wanted to see her perform. So the music for Ruin My Life starts, and I am like, oh my God, I feel so sick. If I don't get food in me in the next like few minutes, I'm going to pass out. And also the music was really loud. The lights were flashing. Like, no questions, I had to get some food in me. And so I ended up missing Ruin My Life. I saw a little bit of it, but I ended up missing like the entire performance of Ruin My Life, which really sucked, but it was fine because she did Never Forget You. She closed her set with Never Forget You, and that's like one of my other favorite songs of hers. And so I got to see that. I got some really good videos of that. So, everybody else is performing, Ozuna, Khalid, CNCO, they perform, and then they get to the Why Don't We set. So the boys had the longest set of anyone. The boys were performing from 8:25 to 9. They had the longest set of any of the other artists. So they did Feliz Navidad. Let's go! boy did, you know, choose, and I was just like living. Keep in mind, I'm still like sick. You know, I went and I got some food, but you know, the food hasn't hit me. The water really hasn't hit me yet. So I'm still feeling like really, really sick. But I'm there, bro. I'm there screaming. I'm like, yes, why don't we? You know, I'm getting my videos. Stay up, we can talk, we can dance, no matter the circumstance, we don't let it change us. No, so that's a beautiful thing about us. For guys and without trust, roll me, get it right, faded on the summer. Let's see where it takes us. Feel me, so love me for who I am. If you're one guy, you got everything you want, but got everything you need. So take a chance. Going off, I'm doing the choreography. And so the boys ended up closing their set with What Am I? Hold you to the heart. If I said I'm falling, would you just lie? I know you are. What am I? You know, sobbing, hello, hi. And so I was standing next to this couple who I had started talking to, you know, a really, really friendly couple. So the way that it was me, I was in the aisle, and then the dude was next to me, and then the girlfriend was next to him. And the boys started to sing What Am I? And I started to sob uncontrollably. Like, I mean, sob. Inconsolable, essentially, inconsolable. And the guy was next to me, and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay, like, at all. Because, like, I'm here, I'm watching them, they're performing What Am I? Like, I'm literally, like, crying, you know? This is my cat, guys, sorry. I'm literally like not okay at all in the slightest. And so the dude is hugging me. He's like rubbing my shoulder. He is like trying to get me to calm down, really. And it worked, you know. I just needed a little bit of love in that moment because I was going through it. So fast forward to the end of the show. The rest of the show was amazing, by the way. Fast forward to the end. The show is over. You know, the confetti drops. Everybody is leaving. I get outside. It's pouring. You guys, it is pouring rain. It's like a storm. Like a storm had happened during like the duration of Jingleball. Some kind of storm had happened. It's like torrential downpours. It's raining. And so I'm standing there, and I had to get an Uber from the venue back to my aunt's house because my aunt lives way closer to the BB&T Center than I do. And so I was staying with her, and so like I ended up getting an Uber back to her house. The thing that I don't like about getting Ubers from a venue, like after a big show or anything like that, is the price of Uber is exceptionally high. And Lyft too. You know, it's not just Uber, it's both of them. The price is exceptionally high. And so the price was literally like $70. When I checked earlier, it was like $15. But because everybody was getting an Uber, everybody was, you know, moving and, you know, doing all of this stuff, the price of Uber was like $70. And so I ended up waiting for the price to go down. The price finally went down after I don't know how long. Hold on. Chloe, move. The price finally went down after I don't know how long. And so I was able to call my Uber. I get in the Uber and I get back to my aunt's house. When I get back to my aunt's house, I am exhausted. When I say physically exhausted, it's after 1 o'clock at this point, after 1 in the morning, and I am just so tired, you guys, like so tired. I couldn't even like tell them about the show, like my aunt and uncle. The most I could do was show them my picture, and then I had to go to sleep. I was so tired. Overall, it was a really good experience. I really had a lot of fun doing it and going. I haven't been to a Jingle Ball in so long, and so, you know, getting able to go, being able to meet the boys was just absolutely incredible. So yeah, that was my Jingle Ball story slash December recap. I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This channel is going to be really, really fun. I can feel it in my veins. And yeah, I hope you guys stick around. Thanks. Bye.